Sound Connection is back. Highlighting local stories from the South Sound and beyond. Brought to you by All American Restoration Services and the DYOJO podcast. Join us every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Sound Connection. So we are back. South Sound Connection, season 2. So this is episode 2 of season 2. So I'm excited. Last week we talked to Right in the Rain, which literally has a secret sauce for coating their papers to make it rainproof, waterproof. And this week we're talking to Nancy. Oh, I forgot to ask her how to pronounce her last name. So I will do that. So just cut this part out. Just pretend we didn't say that part. But Olympic Crest Insurance out of Gig Harbor, Washington, and then the podcast Recipe for Success. I really love her motto, Courage to Change. So that's what we're going to talk about. But let's get past all that. Let's actually bring her in. She is standing by. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I forgot in prep to ask you how to pronounce your last name, so I didn't completely botch it.
But it's only fun if you try first. It's only fun for me if you give it a shot first.
Okay, I'm gonna Giacolone.
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 As I tell everyone, rhymes with baloney. So.
And ready, go. Yeah. So baloney. This is the baloney show.
That's right.
Well, awesome. So So you started, I believe you said in December, you started a podcast, Recipe for Success, correct?
That is correct.
Nice. And the idea, you like healthy eating, healthy cooking, creative ideas, and then combining that with your business, which is Olympic Crest Insurance. So, but you're not selling insurance. What type of insurance are you selling?
So I'm a consultant for employee benefit programs. So primarily I work with employers that are putting together their medical, dental, life, et cetera, for their employees. We work with individuals as well, but the bulk of our business is working directly with employers.
With the employers. And so I love that. And so that's where the kind of the theme, the courage to change comes from, right?
It is.
And I was looking at your website and things that you're, obviously there's a lot of crossover between your business and the podcast, but that courage to change and something that resonated with me, a lot of people are having issues attracting and keeping good employees. So how do you see employee benefits playing into that and how you work with local businesses?
That's such a great question. So I've been doing this a very long time. And one thing that has been a consistent is the cost of healthcare keeps going up. Yeah. So if you're an employer providing benefits, you're impacted by that. So there's only a couple of ways to deal with it. Either you as a business absorb that, which takes away from your bottom line, or you pass it on to your employees, which tends to result in an unhappier, less satisfied workforce. Yeah. So when we're looking at attracting top talent, retaining top talent, the benefits are a key piece. It's one thing that more employees make a decision about than employers actually give it credit for. So if we keep doing things the way we've always done them, we're going to keep getting the same results we've always had in the past. I mean, the old saying, do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. So what I'm trying to do with employers is get them to look at things differently. Yeah. And that requires courage because it is taking a step into the unknown. It is asking employees to be more participatory in the process, but the reward for that risk is great. The cost can go down significantly, not only to the business, but it can result often in plans that have 100% coverage to the employee. In other words, they pay nothing for doctor's visits, or we're using a particular hospital for a procedure, they have 100% coverage. So when you look at it that way, there's a lot of reward, but it does take that courage, and it takes somebody to walk alongside those employers to help them see the path and, to clear the brush out of the way so they can start taking those steps towards their ultimate goal.
Yeah. Well, maybe this is in your experience too. With the DYOJO, we do some business consulting, mostly in the property restoration construction space. And there's a lot of business owners that do unique things, right? They maybe compensate their people in a different way or provide something like you're talking about, much better benefits. But a lot of times they do a poor job of communicating how they're different. So, they've met with you, they have all these different things that they're offering, and then they don't regularly advertise internally, hey, we provide this is why, and this is why our company long-term is a better fit. So it's like a lot of times it's not even as much that people obviously need to be aware and learn of new things like you're talking about, but then to communicate that piece to their people,
100%. Communication is so critical to developing a positive, thriving company culture. And whether it's around benefits, whether it's around how you treat your employees, how you treat your customers, communication is a key. And I think it's such an overlooked skill set. Yeah.
We're calling them, I guess now we're calling them soft skills, but just those, not necessarily the hard skills. And it's so funny because that too, a lot of people are, I don't like sales. I don't want to be the grimy salesperson. It's like, you don't have to be,
well,
just who you are.
If you're helping people achieve their goals, and you're making money at the same time, win-win. You call it whatever you want. You don't need to call it sales.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about the podcast, Recipe for Success. Where did that idea come about, and how'd you get that up and rolling?
Well, my little brain is going 24/7, and the gerbils were running overtime on the hamster wheel that day. But I love to cook. I always have. It's always been a passion of mine, and I particularly like to cook in a healthy way. And I had started sharing a little bit about myself in the cooking aspect on LinkedIn and trying to tie it back to my business. And, here's what I learned from doing this. Here's what I learned from doing that. And I started thinking about it. I thought, well, that's a great format or topic for my podcast. So the idea behind Recipe for Success was that in cooking or in baking, there's always a particular technique or ingredient that is key to the success of that dish or, bread or whatever it is that you're making. And if you skipped that ingredient or technique, it wouldn't be the same. Which is really true of business as well. So there are skills or techniques or features that make your product, your skill set, your service successful. So I thought it was a great tie-in, and I decided to go with that.
So had you, because that's, obviously we launched this is sponsored by All American and the DYOJO. And we just wanted to kind of shout out cool things that are happening around the South Sound. It seems like a lot of what you're doing is very similar. You're reaching out to local businesses, and exactly that your unique approach is what's your recipe for success or your secret sauce. I think I mentioned in the opening, we had Right in the Rain, which is made in the South Sound, and they literally have a secret sauce that they would apply to the paper. So what do you, in that regard, for businesses that are looking to do something a little bit different, which podcasting, like you said, again, takes courage, right? We've got tens of people listening, and you had mentioned too, it's hard to track like who's catching it or how to reach out to people. But why do you think, or what are some of the things that you've learned from the experience that have been beneficial to you as a business?
Well, I learned something from every single guest, as I'm sure that you do as well. And that's, I have an insatiable curiosity. And so I'm always interested in what people do, why they do it, how did they get started. So there's always something I take away from my guests, as well as hopefully my audience does as well. I had wanted to start a podcast for a long time. I even had bought the equipment and, I was ready to go. And then of course, COVID. So, trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do with this? Because the original idea was to have the guests in person. So much for that idea. But I do a lot of videos on LinkedIn anyway. I've been doing that for a couple of years. Every Tuesday, I do something called 2 Minute Tuesday. And so it kind of evolved from that. I thought, well, I'm already kind of good at this. I know how to, put a structure together. I know how to talk to people. And so I just decided I was going to go for it. And that's what I did.
And launched it. Yep. Well, that's the same. I think when COVID hit for the DYOJO podcast, it was just some videos reaching out to industry people, asking some questions about approaches to what was coming. And then I had a friend, I think we use the same platform, Anchor, that launches to Spotify and distributes. And I mean, it's out there. And I think a lot of things like social media, it's all free, right? You can put the content out there other than time, right? The most valuable resource, you got to put the time into it. And so hopefully it results in something of a turn. But so where can people find a Recipe for Success? We've got Olympic Crest up on here, and that'll be in the show notes as well. But if people want to listen, when do you publish and how can they find it?
Great question. So probably the very best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. And so Nancy Giacolone, starts with a G, on LinkedIn. And I do my 2 Minute Tuesday videos every Tuesday morning. Those launch every Tuesday. And then every Thursday at 9 a.m., I do my Recipe for Success live, which is the most fun way to watch it because then you can ask questions. But it does save recorded to LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. And then from there, it pushes out the audio to all your popular podcast platforms. Yep.
So you're using StreamYard as well?
Yes, I am.
Yep. I've been enjoying it. I don't know. Have you noticed if someone's on YouTube, obviously the notes come in, but if we had somebody interacted with us from LinkedIn, we thought they were commenting unanimously, and it's just how it imported from LinkedIn into the program. So it said LinkedIn user, it was like unanimous. So it was kind of interesting.
I haven't had that, but I have seen comments come in from Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn, which is kind of fun. You can see their little icon is a little bit different depending on what platform they're coming from.
Yeah, and the comments, I don't know I don't think I've gone back and seen people post on Facebook, but they haven't come through during the live. So maybe I'm doing.
Then maybe they watched it after the fact.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yep, that might be. Well, awesome. Well, Nancy Giacolone, rhymes with baloney, Recipes for Success, Olympic Crest Insurance. Any other nuggets of wisdom you want to drop on the tens of listeners that are just tuning in, hanging on our every word?
Well, since you happen to work in the restoration field, I do work with businesses that are in the restoration field. We do benefits for groups with as few as 5 employees up to around 500. So you're not too small for us. If you're an individual looking for medical insurance, feel free to give our office a call. We do have somebody that specializes in that as well. Really, we love to support and help our community, whether it's through helping you with insurance or just a general question. Feel free to reach out with anything.
Very cool. Well, thank you. We wanted to keep these short, so thank you for carving out the time for us. And we will talk again soon and hopefully someday meet in person.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Nancy. All right. Well, there you have it. South Sound Connection Live episode. So this is actually episode 16, but episode 2 of season 2. And you can check out the webpage is the DYOJO DYOJO.com/SSC if you want to see past episodes and who we have coming up for guests this season, this year, these next couple of months. And so check it out, Recipe for Success and the 2 Minute Tuesdays. But if you're struggling with attracting and keeping employees, employee retention, then have the courage to change and like we talked about, communicate the things that you do that are different than your competitors with your people. Advertise, market to your people as much as you do to your clients. So, because right now in the current marketplace, it's harder to get good at people than it is to get good clients, it seems. So we're going to sign off for today. Thank you for listening. And here we go. Thank you for listening to Sound Connection. Please continue to join us every Tuesday live, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can catch it on youtube.com/The DYOJO, THEDYOJO. We are brought to you by All American Restoration Services, based out of Tacoma, Washington. They are a general contractor that specializes in insurance claim repairs after water and fire damage.
Hey, it's happening! Everybody stay calm! What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
If you suffer a disaster in your home, you know who to call. All American Restoration Services.
Wait! Everybody calm down!
And the DYOJO podcast. The podcast for the skilled trades, helping you shorten your dang learning curve for personal and professional development. This season 2, is all about Made in the South Sound. We have a great group of guests lined up for you all. Made in the South Sound. Thank you for listening. Have yourselves a great Pacific Northwest day. If you're interested in checking out supporting us, we've got this book, Be Intentional Culture, which is a collaborative book with several authors from the skilled trades, how the small things enhance or undermine your culture. Be Intentional Culture, thedyojo.com/book 2. It's the second.